Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Nite Talks with Sasha. I am your girl, your diva, Sasha, coming to you live for another episode of Nite Talks with Sasha. So, before we get started, I have a few announcements to make. Coming up, I don't know if everyone has seen, but coming up next Friday will be a show about dating and being disabled and being a plus size woman. Now, I know that there are men that are plus size and that they are disabled as well, but I can't talk about that from a male's perspective. But if you are a man and you are on the larger size, you live in a larger body, and you are disabled, and you're out here dating or even married, definitely your opinion matters and your voice matters. So I would love for you to come on and talk on the show. We're going to have a couple other women that are going to be on the show, and they're also going to talk about dating as a plus-size disabled person. Some were born with a disability. Some have gradually become disabled due to life, other issues, health. One woman is now has lupus, and so because of that, that has caused her to definitely change how she sees and views the world. Also, on that particular show, we're going to have a life mindset coach. I just wanted her to come on. I don't really think that we needed it, but I thought that her presence would be valuable in the fact that she could possibly give us tips and help us find different ways of communicating. Should you be completely honest up front about the fact that you have a disability? I know for myself, I am disabled. My weight is not my disability. I was born with a disability. I was born with a form of degenerative arthritis. And as I continue to get older, my ability to walk will become less. I have had surgery as a child from the ages of 4 and the age of 7. I had surgery on both of my legs. They were broken, and the bones were broken, and they were reset in order to stop, to help my legs grow, so that they would not continue to bow out. So I have been in and out of wheelchairs practically all my life. I have walked on a walker in some form or some capacity all of my life. And so my weight is not my disability contrary to what people may think. It is a contributing factor. The weight gain came because of asthma. And when I was a child, if you grew up in the 70s, the late 70s, early 80s, and you were a child born with asthma, I was given anabolic steroids for my asthma. Those are the type of steroids that men use to get really bigger. And so as a child, I was given those steroids, and that has affected my fat chemistry. So everyone is different, and we all want somebody to love us and to accept us for who we are. So I really think that it will be an important and informational show. So I definitely want you all to tune in, and that will be next Friday, the 15th, and we'll be at 9 o'clock. I'm hoping that we can possibly have another discussion about it. It just depends on everyone's schedule, but I definitely want you to listen. Another thing that I wanted to say was that you can now find Night Talks with Sasha on Apple Podcasts. So if you go on Apple, you can follow the show, and from there you can be, just like with Blog Talk, you can be updated on the times when the show will appear. Tonight I'm by myself, so just hold down with me. It'll be okay. We're going to roll. And so next up, we're having Unique. You've heard her before. She's been on the show one time before, earlier this summer, and she talked about the Juicy Peaches, the group that is on Facebook that she created. And we had a very in-depth discussion about what that group was, why it came to be, how it came to be, and where Unique wants that group to go in the future. But tonight we're talking about traveling. The Juicy Peaches is not just a social media group where we talk on social media. It is also a group where we get out, go places, get together. We get together. Friendships have been formed. Bonds have been formed off of the group. And so the Juicy Peaches also travel together. This year they have been to, I want to make sure that I got this right. I'm going to have Unique to correct me. But I do believe they've been to Jamaica, and I also believe that they have been to the Dominican. Is that right? Didn't y'all go? Didn't the Juicy Peaches go to the Dominican, Unique?
Yes, ma'am. We did last year for our first international trip. We went to the Dominican Republic. This year it was Jamaica. And next year on our 5th anniversary, we actually have 5 trips.
Yes. And we're going to talk about as many of those as we can. I think we can get all 5 of them in. What do you think?
Well, only 3 of them have been posted, so 2 is still a surprise. So we can definitely touch on the 3 that have been posted.
Okay, cool. And I also wanted to talk about your flight class that you have. So if you are a person that you're plus size, or even if you're disabled and you just take the bus or the car to travel and you do road trips, that's very limiting to where you can go. And so Unique has a flight class, and so we're going to get into that as well, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so let's just start with let's talk about the flight class, because I think that is really important, because when we talk about that, then that's going to lead to the other trips and the other things that are going to be coming down the line, because if people are afraid to fly and they don't really know if they can or if it's accommodating to them, they're gonna feel like, oh well, I can't do that. I can't go anywhere. And I think it's important for us to really realize it. And I will say, not trying to make it about me, but I will tell you that for myself personally, I didn't have my first flight until I met my husband. He lived in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and he invited me to come to Connecticut to meet him, and I was supposed to fly. Well, I got to the airport to get on the plane because I was going to meet him in New York, and from New York we were going to travel by car into Connecticut because it's only 2-3 hours away. I got scared. Couldn't get on the plane. And I called him, and the plane, it had landed, and he was in New York. He was looking for me, and he was like, "Hey, where are you?" And I was too embarrassed to call him. I was actually gonna leave, and I was too embarrassed to call him. And I said, I was scared. I've never been on a plane before. And he was like, "You've never flown before?" I'm like, "No, I've never done it. I've always thought that I was too fat to fly." And you hear those horrible stories about people on planes and how they treat people, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm never gonna put myself in that predicament." And he was like, "Oh, why you didn't tell me that?" And I was embarrassed, and I told him I was embarrassed, and he's like, "Okay, just stay there at the airport," because I was in Atlanta, and he said, "Just stay at the airport," and he actually got on a plane from New York and flew to Georgia just to get me.
Aww.
Yeah, I was
Talk
like,
about
okay.
chivalry, right?
Right. And that's what he did. And he was like, "I'm not going to make you do that." So we got a car and we drove, and he was like, "I'm going to do this time, but you're going to get on a plane. We're going to fly." And I finally got on a plane and flew to New York with him. And it wasn't as bad because, I had someone that had traveled, that was well-traveled, and he was a travel agent himself. And so he taught me a lot of the tricks and the trades of what to do for flying. And I was still nervous, but I got on the plane.
Well, that's a good thing, and that's what's most important, that you got out there and you did it.
Yeah, most definitely. There's a lot of people, even with our travel agent business that he and I had together. The thing about it was a lot of people, and our travel agency was geared toward plus size. He already had it before he met me, but because I was plus size and disabled, it became a plus size and disabled travel agency, and that's who we were really reaching out to in order to get people. And so it wasn't, and it was often like what you're doing with these classes. So tell us about your flight class.
Okay, I will. And thank you again for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. It is important to me, in keeping with my mission, that I make sure that we are offering comprehensive services. The passengers, flying as a passenger of size class is important because when you think about travel and you think about just living life and enjoying it, vacation is such a big part of it. We can do, I live in Atlanta, you live in Atlanta now, I'm from Chicago, both very big, vibrant cities, always with something to do. But no matter how long you live in a place, you can't do everything, but you can sort of get tired of doing some of the same things. And you want to be able to see different places and do different things. And so it's important to me to make sure that people of size know that they can fly. Flying is a very daunting activity for so many people. And it's important to note that most passengers feel a little bit cramped on a plane. The seats are very, very small. And so when you're looking at them, unless you're just, kind of really thin and you're not going to have any hip space or need extra leg room, everybody's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable on the plane. And I think that our passenger of size class, it just starts off with that. It's not a class that's going to answer, you're just afraid to fly because you're afraid of heights, you're afraid the plane's going to fall down, you're going to die. This class isn't that, because that's a different dynamic. This is for the person of size who doesn't believe that they are going to be accepted and that the skies are as friendly for our sizes as they are for everybody else. This is to, one, acknowledge that, but also to say, here are some tips, here are some tricks to get around it so that you feel as comfortable as possible and that you can get where you're going with as less stress as possible.
Exactly.
The class is, in general, the class is 2 hours long. It's now a fee. I've done it with no cost for a very long time, but I'm trying to move into some things that are profitable because most of the things that I do for Juicy Peaches are not intended to be. But if I'm going to spend as much time as I do, I need to be able to not work as much. And so the class is $25, so not a huge amount. It only has 20 persons max per class. And Mikhail Raffinelli is a co-instructor, a co-facilitator. I asked Mikhail to do it because she has the Guinness record for having the world's widest hips. Yes. Her hips are 100 inches in circumference. So when you think about that and you think about the fact that she's flown internationally as well as domestic many, many, many times, then you realize if you're looking at Unique with 94-inch hips and Mikhail with 100-inch hips and they're flying, then I can probably do it too. And so I wanted to make sure that the facilitators were some that had some credibility, because it's just like when we are looking at plus-size magazines or plus-size clothing, and everybody in there is a size 6 or an 8. Where's the credibility there? How do I know that this is going to fit me?
Exactly.
Because I'm not represented there. But we are representing a representative of the possibilities when you get on a flight. And so we have different experiences in terms of our mobility. Mikhail uses a wheelchair, a motorized scooter, so she has all of that knowledge, a vast of knowledge. I walk the airport, but I also don't walk it fast. I'm not skipping and running. I take some time and, take a break. And so I talk about all of those things to make sure that everybody knows that if you walk in and you slow, it doesn't matter as long as you get to where you're going. That's what matters. And so these are the tips and the tricks that we want everybody to have. But we don't stop at just the 2-hour class. We now have the networking Facebook group that sort of is the wraparound service that everybody needs, because nobody's going to feel the class is good. I believe it's good, and I believe that it's a start. But as you prepare to purchase the tickets and then get the anxiety and try to remember everything, we're right there. We're there to answer the questions. We're there to even take the call on the day of your travel. I'm definitely going to make sure that I speak to you the night before and during to make sure that your first flight is going to be successful. So it's the wraparound services that I believe that everybody needs. It's the support that I would love to have had on my first time had I been, this fearful. But it's also unique in that you're not going to get this anywhere else. You can go on the Internet and you can look up, just how to fly, flying while fat, or whatever keywords you put in, and somebody's going to have a video, or somebody's going to have, some tips and things, but it's not the support that you would like to have, and also the possibility of having the concierge travel services so that if you need to get wheelchair assistance, we can show you how to do that. If you need to have, to get an oxygen tank when you get there, we can make sure that you get that too. So it is, the class itself is one of a two-part system that I believe is going to make sure that you are able to fly your first times, and we'll move you from first flyer to forever flyer.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's a very valuable, the group itself is very valuable. I'm in the Facebook group, and everyone in there, they are coming from their own perspective and their own point of view. There are people in the group that have flown some, and then there are those in the Facebook group that have never taken a flight at all. And so for those people that haven't taken that flight and it will be their first, it's really good to have that ability to know that you have the support of those that have done it, and that they can champion you on as you progress into that. So it's a very valuable lesson, and I'm glad that you do it and that you have it, because it needs to be out there. When Michael and I were doing it, we weren't. Michael just didn't want to just be another travel agency. He wanted to teach people about not just booking them, but also about how to maneuver and do these things on your own. So, if you need, but a travel agent is good to have in some instances. But we were big on education as well, giving pointers and tips and answering questions. Because the biggest question that JG Travel got was about seatbelt extenders. People often talked about and wanted to know, well, how do I ask about that? Or also, should I get one seat or two? What's the best airline to use? And I think that you address a lot of those questions as well, right?
Yes, ma'am. We go from preparing for your flight even weeks before, preparing your body for travel, making sure that you are eating foods that are not going to cause excessive bloating or that are going to, make you too tired. And I often talk about preparing for flight as you prepare for a marathon, just to be ready for it, because it's a different kind of travel than just going to the movies or just going. The airports can be very, very exhausting. And so the class talks about all of that. So it's about, the preparation before to what happens after you get off the plane. So we go step by step, and it's very, very thorough. And as you mentioned, even afterwards we talk about the other things, the other questions. One of the main questions, like you mentioned, is the seatbelt extender. It's whether or not I'm going to be able to fit in the seat. And then the daunting task of having to ask for a seatbelt extender out loud. We have an activity in the class where we role play asking for a seatbelt extender and then getting some responses that you may not expect, so that you are prepared for everything. If the flight attendant is really loud when they respond, if they do so sarcastically or appear to be condescendingly, how do you respond to that? Because the bottom line is that you still want to travel, that no matter what anybody else says, thinks, or does, you still have a right to be in the air and to be enjoying your travel experience like everybody else. And so we answer those questions, we play with that, and we'll continue to do it until everybody feels comfortable and has the factual answers. And in the group, I try to do that by making sure that I'm providing the links to the website, that I'm providing the FAA information. So it's not just things that I think that's been my experience. These are the facts, and these are things that you'll have to be able to go back to and point to if you have any problems in the air. And so I want to make sure that everybody's equipped with that. And I am extremely proud of the Peaches that have been traveling on the trips that we had. The last trip that we had to Jamaica this past June, we had 2 first-time flyers, never flew ever, even anywhere, and they flew internationally for the first time. So very proud of them. Also had one that had not flown in over 20 years, and then she got a new passport and flew again. So when we talk about making an impact, I really believe that we are making a difference in that sense, and I just would like to see it go further.
Yes, most definitely. I agree, because having that moment, that feeling of, yes, I did it. I don't care, it doesn't beat nothing beats that feeling. I don't care how old you get or where you are in life. In that moment when you can look at yourself and be proud of yourself and what you've done and the accomplishments you've made, it's a very good feeling, and it's a good moment to cherish. Yeah,
and
I
everybody should have it.
Yes, I agree. We deserve, those of us that are disabled and plus size, we deserve to live our life as fully and as freely as we possibly can vision ourselves doing. I totally agree with that. And I totally agree with your message. And that's what I love about you. Because it's not, the way that you deliver it, it is so comforting and empowering at the same time. Because you are truly, not only do you understand, but you are truly an ally. And I thank you for that. The time and the efforts that you really do take into mentoring people, women, anyone that comes to you. You are a treasure, and I thank you for taking that on. I know it can be a lot, but thank you for doing it, because you've inspired me. I haven't traveled, because of personal issues, but in other aspects and in other things, in my own personal life, the full body picture, because I never really paid that any attention. The thought-provoking posts that you have in the group and the conversations. I know sometimes I get in there and I wind up writing an essay, but, it's just, I feel safe where I can express myself and not feel judged because I did write that small book as a response to one of your posts. So I thank you for what you're doing. I really do.
You're so welcome. Thank you for saying that.
Yes. So let's get into this Vegas trip. Do you want to talk about that one first, or we want to talk about the cruise? Because I think the cruise is going to come up first before the Vegas trip in October 2024, right?
Yes, ma'am. So the cruise would be the first trip of 2024. It actually takes place over our anniversary date. So we'll be having our anniversary party aboard the cruise, and we are traveling with Virgin Voyages for this cruise. So it is not one of the low-cost cruise lines, and I wasn't looking for that. What I was looking for, and always am looking for, is accessibility for all of us. Where are we going to feel the most comfortable in the most places on this ship and be able to be ourselves without, as many challenges. I found that in Virgin Voyages. It's a new cruise line that just began during the pandemic, actually. Yeah. And they've got a bunch of seating everywhere that is armless. They've got a lot of different restaurants. It's all inclusive, a lot of activities. But it's the cruise for us. The rooms we were blessed to be able to book or to reserve all of their accessible rooms in the beginning, and we had those reserved for almost 4 months to give everybody an opportunity who needed an accessible room to get one. And that's helpful because the bathrooms are so much larger, because you don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to be able to take a shower while you're on the cruise. There are so many cruise groups, well, there are a couple of cruise groups out for plus-size travelers, and many of them have that question, what do you do when you can't fit in the shower? And there's a lot of tips about just go down to the spa. They should let you shower there. If you've ever been on a cruise and you know how far it could be from your stateroom to the shower, it's for someone like me who has some, I have anxiety about that. If I'm not smelling fresh when I go out, or if I've been out too long and I've not had an opportunity to freshen up, it can really be anxiety producing to not be able to feel fresh in your stateroom and then have to walk a country mile to get to a shower and pass a million people. So I didn't want anybody to have that experience. And so that was the first part of my advocacy. Let's see if we can get these accessible rooms that have these roll-in showers or just walk-in showers that are wide enough for us. They don't have the glass doors, so nobody's going to be, stuck or claustrophobic. They've got a shower curtain, and they've got a toilet that's not sitting so low that it feels like a child's a potty. So those are the things that I look for, and Virgin Voyage has those. And so I felt really good about that. That cruise is in April. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
Okay. That cruise is in April. It's 5 days, leaving out of Miami and going to the Riviera Maya. So we'll be in Mexico. We'll also be in the Bahamas. And we'll have a couple of days cruising. And we just going to have a damn good time on this ship. We're going to have a comedy show, and we've got a Baby Got Black, all of the sexy little black dresses for our anniversary party. And we just got a lot of fun things planned, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I would be too. And I've heard about Virgin. It is a nice ship. And it's a really nice. And one thing about it also, it's an adults-only ship. It is.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. I don't know how I left that out. It is adults only. And one of the things that that was one of the driving factors for me, determining factors for me, because when people are coming out of their shell, so to speak, and they want to get out, they're going to put on that bathing suit for the first time, they want to just, unleash and just be free. It's daunting if you got kids around. Kids are brutally honest, and they've got stuff to say, and their parents can't always, catch them before it's out. I don't want anybody to have what my grandmother used to call a setback. I don't want them to have a setback. You get out and you're having a good time, but somebody says something and make you feel less than, and then you're in your stateroom the rest of the cruise. And so I thought that this would be an easier way to just kind of, bring them out of your shell and into a fun time. It's all adults. We're all out there, all ages, and everybody just having a good time. It also presents for a little bit more risque kind of cruise. Virgin Voyage is LGBTQIA friendly. They are also just a lot on the risque side. This is not a swingers cruise by any means, but when adults get together, adults do adult things. So people are going to be dancing and maybe a little bit scantily clad in some of the places, but it's going to be a fun time, and that's what I was looking for.
Exactly, yeah, and that's why you look for adult only, because that's what you're looking for. I mean, if that's what you want, then that's what you want. And I think that if it's a person's first cruise, if it's their first time traveling and doing that, then I think that nothing against kids. I love them. They're great.
Absolutely.
I want to be around other adults, so that you can be yourself. And and you also, and I know, and I'm not a mother, but I know I have a lot of friends that are moms, and a lot of times when they see other kids, it takes them out of that zone of being comfortable and being loose and enjoying themselves, because they're thinking, I should have brought my baby. My baby could be having fun too, and sometimes you just, mom and dad or mom and mom or whoever, they just need to have fun and let their hair down. So, yeah.
Most responsible parents and adults are going to feel better about not having to set the example. There are some things that we still don't say or do in front of children. And so when you're out and you're having a drink and your mouth is a little bit loose, we may have some words that come out that we don't want children to hear. And having to set that example in front of them. So this is a vacation that, like you said, we love the kids, but this is adult time, and everybody deserves the adult time.
Yeah, most definitely. So what's the other trip? Because I missed one.
You missed one. Well, so this one was actually posted last year, and it's a family trip. It's to the Bahamas. So we are going to be taking 9 families to the Bahamas in June, and we will have an amazing time there. It's a family trip. We're going to go to the water park and have an excursion around the island and just enjoy family time. So it is true that in April we will be with the adults, but we double back when the kids are out of school, and we have a family trip so that families will be able to bring the children and enjoy the water park and just everything that comes with that. So that's our second trip. Now, that one's been closed for a while, but we're heading there in June.
Oh, okay. And now the big one, Vegas, baby.
Vegas. Sin City. Vegas is exciting. It's exciting for me for many things. It combines two things that I'm really passionate about. It combines travel. Those who are in Vegas will, of course, not be traveling, but for the majority of us, we'll be traveling to Vegas for a weekend of just fun and excitement, but also a weekend of bonding and sisterhood and education and strength building. We're going in October 4th through 7th, and that's going to also encompass Plus Size Appreciation Day, which is on October 6th. So I'm really excited about these two things, that the combination, and our goal to be there, one is to definitely have fun, but it's also to enhance breast cancer awareness, to empower our community to prioritize health and wellness, to promote self-care, body positivity, personal advocacy, and also it helps to increase self-esteem. And so these are things that seem like it's a lot to do and a lot to accomplish in a short time, but I know for a fact that we can do it because seeing us, being in the room, I don't know how many people that are our size, plus size, super plus size, have been in a room where everybody looks like you.
Yes. I can say I have not.
That is going to be, exactly. Many of us have not. That's going to be a big self-esteem booster right there. Just to see everybody looking like you and beautiful and smiling and happy and not what society says about us all being sad and at home and, miserable. We're out and enjoying life. That's going to be the first thing that's going to pep everybody up. I've experienced it. I've seen it. I know that it works. It's also going to be centered around breast cancer awareness color, around pink. And just pink is just a fun color. Look at everybody running for Barbie and just the Barbie movie and trying to put on the pink. It's a fun color. It symbolizes femininity, compassion, care, love, all of it. And this weekend is about that. It's about us loving ourselves. It's about the sisterhood where we love on each other, support each other, where we rebuke all of those ideals that we got to be fighting against each other, or we are in competition with each other. When in reality, we got to be able to see each other win, because we need each other to survive. We really do. We need our sisters. We need our support. We need the tough conversations. We need the tough talks. We need to say it's time to go to the doctor. You can't keep taking this medicine by yourself. You've got to go let the doctor, prescribe you something. And we've got to be able to be the buddy system that we need, because the medical community does have a bias against obesity, and it's trickled down to obese people. And if we don't have a way to stand up for ourselves, or have a buddy that we can bring in that's going to stand up for us, then we're always going to be in situations where we're getting the tail end of the services, or we're getting services too late.
Exactly.
And with the advancements in medical and medicine and technology, breast cancer patients are living a whole lot longer. The key to that is to make sure that you're diagnosed as early as possible. This is something that we can beat. We can get in there. We just got to get in there. We got to not be afraid. And this it shouldn't even be a obesity thing, because there are very small people with huge breasts.
Exactly.
So no matter what, the test has got to measure the breast, the density. It's got to get through them. So this is something that we all can work on and beat it together. And this is what this weekend is about. It's not just about breast cancer, but it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we're going to put that first and foremost. We're going to put plus size appreciation on the platform as well. This is October 6th, so we'll be doing a lot of things that day to appreciate ourselves and our body, and just to rally around who it is that we are and how unique we are in this world. We don't have to look like anybody else. I don't have to be a size 10 to shine, because I can be a size 20 and shine. I can be a size 32 and shine brightly like diamonds, as Rihanna says. We've got to be able to love ourselves in a way that's going to show that every day. And being there together is going to do that. So we've got an amazing weekend. It's 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We've got a lot of time, just you time and sisterhood time and sightseeing time, but we also got some come together time. Let's talk about breast cancer. Let's talk about getting this annual mammograms. Let's talk about how you got to stand up for yourself. And then, sisters, let's do some makeovers. Let's see us walking this runway and feeling good and taking photos in our for our photo shoot, and just having fun together.
Exactly.
In pink.
Yeah. Exactly. In pink. I am so excited, and I can't wait to go. I can't wait to show up and be with all of y'all. Because mostly everyone knows that I have breast cancer, and it's stage 4.
And we're going to need to hear that. We're going to need to be there to love up on you, too. But we're going to need to hear your story, because it's some sharing of stories that people need to hear.
It is. And I want people to know, and I try to live my life. I'm trying to live my life as a person living with stage 4 cancer, because there are a lot of us. There are a lot of us that are living with metastatic type cancer, and it has spread to other parts of our body. And in my research and in support that I have found online in a advanced breast cancer group, I've come across women that have lived and that are living 10, 12, 13, they're living. And stage 4 breast cancer is not the death sentence that it once was. And people, you need to see that. But it is about getting diagnosed early. I thank God that I was in the process with your help at that time, that I was, in getting it, that I got diagnosed, and it happened before, but it happened, and I'm thankful that it did happen. And I did not, and I am not continuously living. I may not be living because of it, and so I really feel like we do need that. We need to advocate, and especially for us as Black women. And I don't want to make it about a color thing, but we need to, because there are so many of us as Black women that are losing this battle, and we don't have to, but we're losing it because we're not finding out. And especially when you are a larger woman. My story, my cancer diagnosis story, Unique, is triggering. It was horrible. It was horrible.
I remember.
And
I definitely remember.
Yeah, and people need to hear it, and people need to know what you can go through, and everyone. I don't want another woman that hears this diagnosis to ever go through what I went through. I don't. I don't ever want them to feel how I felt being diagnosed with cancer, because it is a story that still sticks with me 2 years later, and it still hurts. And so I can't wait to be able to get together and share my story with other beautiful, beautiful women, and we just cry together and uplift each other and enjoy each other, because it's important, and we need that. We need a balance. We need a balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we need to that sisterhood. We need that.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it gets muddled up, but we still are sisters, and we need each other. We definitely need each other. So I can't wait. I know with the trip coming up in October, there's going to be. So I just wanted to talk about some of the accessibility that's going to come into play with the October trip in Vegas, because a lot of people don't think about it. They think Sin City, what accessibility, how is that going to work, and how are we going to have that? I know that we could have it in the hotel, but what about being on the Strip, and what about that? How would that work for someone that needs some accessibility?
Those are excellent questions, and it's funny that you say Sin City, because everybody probably thinks it's just for the abled or able-bodied, and so it's not for everybody, but it's wrong. And in fact, I think maybe Vegas is, I don't know of another city where I've found so many hotels that have Hoyer lifts in the hotel already. The Bellagio Hotel has 2 rooms that have Hoyer lifts built in to the rooms.
Really?
And that go up to 600 pounds at the Bellagio. The Paris, where we'll be staying at the Paris Las Vegas Hotel, have Hoyer lifts at the hotel that they'll just bring up and set up before you come. So they're not in a specific room, but any room can be a Hoyer lift room. And they, again, hold up to 600 pounds. So when you're looking at that, there are hotels like the Aria. You can rent a electric scooter or wheelchair right from the hotel. They already have them up to 400 pounds. So there's so many accessibility aids already in Vegas that a lot of people may not know or have thought about. And so when I was choosing a hotel, I definitely had a bunch of options. But what I wanted to do was to make sure that I got one that had the most accessible features, but also that was in a great location on the Strip. Because the Strip is, I think, 3 or 4 miles long. You can be at one side of it, and it kind of be dull, but it's the Strip, and then you can go up a mile or two, and you're right in the thick of it. And that's where I wanted to be, so that everybody would be in the middle, and you could, go where you wanted to go, do what you wanted to do. All of the casinos are accessible, all of them. There is not one casino in Vegas that's not accessible. The hotels are all accessible. They allow electric scooters, the motorized wheelchairs, and every ounce of them, and they have all of the ADA. They meet all of the ADA requirements. So that's the first thing. Now, like New York, the Strip is going to be busy, so it's going to have some people on the street. But people are, in general, and in my experience, people are friendly and they're considerate, and they know that if there's someone coming with the chair, then they just move to the side. And so I've seen people in chairs many times. Mikkel is often in Vegas. She lives in California. She's got her scooter, and she's going across the street and down the street and doing whatever. So the accessibility portion is not going to be as challenging as one would think. The other blessing is that we offer the concierge travel service. So we will make sure that when you are choosing your room and completing your reservation, it asks if you need a motorized scooter, if you need any other accessible items. Do you need a Hoyer lift? Do you need an oxygen tank? So that we can get those and make sure that we have everything in your room when you get there. We have also, for all of our reservations for our meals, notify them that we are going to have, guests dining with us or attending the show with us who will be using chairs with wheels, so that we have that additional space, and that they know the restaurants that we're going to have ample space in the aisles so that chairs can get through without problem. They don't have to move them. And in fact, when I was reaching out, they all came back and said to me, we meet the ADA requirements. We don't have to do anything. You all are welcome here. And so just knowing that, I'm hoping it gives everybody the comfort in knowing that I've taken care of all of the steps ahead of time, but I will continue to do that and asking the questions, seeing if there are any changes. If you have something that's a little bit different than what I've mentioned and you're worried about that, you can reach out to me and let me take care of it. I want to make sure that this travel is accessible for everybody and that everybody gets an opportunity to enjoy Vegas, to suck up this sisterhood, to really start to think about living their lives, but also making sure that they are healthy and happy while doing it. And that just means physically and emotionally healthy, and just doing the things that it's going to take to get there.
Absolutely. And I've never been to Vegas. So to hear you say that, I am very shocked. I never knew that that all of that was available. I kind of figured that the casinos would be ADA
accessible.
Yes, I'm sorry. I almost got choked. I figured that they would be ADA accessible, but you just shocked me to hear about the Hoyer lift in the room. And, that makes sense because there are people that need that, Never even thought that would be something in the Bellagio. Oh wow!
Yeah.
I like the fact that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, for those who may not know what a Hoyer lift is, the Hoyer lifts are used for people who are paralyzed in many ways, or don't have access to their feet, or not able to walk. And so those are the lifts that are motorized lifts that will lift them from the bed to their chairs. They will lift them on the toilet. to their chairs. So whatever they need, and the fact that they extend up to 600 pounds means that it's just not just, paralyzed. These are accessible and inclusive of so many people. And so that is a blessing, and one that most people probably would not have thought about.
No, not at all. And also the one thing else that I want people to know about the Hoyer lift, they are easy to learn how to use. They're not, it just takes patience and it takes practice. They're not, I use one with my mother when I was taking care of her before her transition. And they're not hard, but you have to, like I said, you have to be patient and learn and take your time. But once you get that person in that Hoyer lift, when she says, like Unique saying, it's 600 pounds, it's not going to tip over. It's not going to fall. Right. No one's going to fall out. It's like you're in a basket. That's the best way that I can say it.
True.
It's like when you're in the grocery store and you have the basket and you're weighing your food and it hangs down. That's sort of what you're going to be looking like in the Hoyer lift. But you're going to be in the basket itself. And it's usually a material, a netting type material that is put under the person, and they have hooks that hook to the hook of the lift, and some of them are manual. You have to crank it to lift it. But I'm assuming that with these being 600, weight capacity of being 600 pounds, that these are electric, where you just mash the button.
Yeah.
And that's
exactly
how
what
it does. Yeah, but once you figure out and get the hooking of the netting of the person in the netting and hook it up, and you just mash a button, that's it.
So for those who use Hoyer lifts at home, they absolutely know what they are. For those who have family members at home and their travel has been impacted because it's too challenging to bring the family member out, and they don't want to leave them at home. This begins to change the game for them. And for our, I have a bed-bound. They're members of Juicy Peaches, but they're bed-bound. They're not, mobility. Their mobility is completely limited, and they're at home, all the time. This begins to open up some things for them where they can say, wait, I didn't know that I could do this, or I would even have this opportunity. And for those who are, this side is, and not able to fly, but there are some that are in California, that are in Vegas, who didn't know that they could experience these things because these accommodations were there for them. And so it is important to me to make sure that I make this available, but also to show everybody that this is what you can do. Sometimes you just have to ask the questions, or you have to be willing to have somebody willing to ask them for you. And I will ask any question about anything at any time.
Exactly.
If it's going to get us up and out and enjoying life like everybody else is. Everybody's enjoying it. We should be too. And I don't have a problem answering the question.
Yeah, absolutely. And she doesn't. And she's, if you have a question and you want to reach out and you're curious to ask, she's very accessible. She's very open. There is no question too big or too small. There is nothing that she won't know. She might talk about you and say, whoa, wait a minute now. But
I'm from Chicago. We talk about everybody. It's all love. May not nobody else talk about you now, but I will.
Exactly. So it's definitely a person. It's very easy to talk to. So definitely, if you want to reach out, but if y'all are interested, I know the last time that you came on, and you talked about opening up the group, and and assessing it, making it more accessible for people to come in. And I was like, I don't want that. Leave it alone. But I was like, no, she's right. And I kept thinking about it. And I've had people, some women on my page that were that talked about the BBW events, and they couldn't stand. They don't like the term BBW, and they talked about the food parties, how it's just it's not something that they want to be a part of, and I found myself saying, well, okay, well, what do you think about this? Now, granted, they're not, SSBBWs, but they are BBWs. And I told them, I was like, tell a friend, because there are places and there are groups and there are people out here that are doing things in a positive way and trying to make things better and give you that variety of things that you want to experience and do, and places that we all can congregate and talk and be ourselves and not have to worry about somebody saying something or looking at us, or it's a safe space. So I have been saying that. I didn't want to at first, but I was like, no, I got to do the right thing, because I told you then, and like I told you then, and I'll tell you now, I believe in your mission.
Thank you.
And, so I hope that I don't know if they ever reached out or whatever, but, I hope that they did or that they will. And I will definitely share this information with one of the ladies that was on my page talking, so that she will know, this is what's going on. This is what this group is. It's not like every other plus-size group out there. So you're definitely going to find something different than what you would everywhere else. I wanted to also ask, I know last year, because we're getting close to the holiday season. What you got planned? Because I'm ready.
You're ready. Well, before I get to that, I just wanted to thank you for realizing that we need to empower as much of us as possible, and the mission means nothing if it doesn't grow. So we've got to be able to help as many of us as possible, lift each other up, and I appreciate you being open to that. I definitely want to say that while it's not just any BBW group, I believe that there is a place for all the BBW groups and to bring us all together. And we all need to feel sexy at times, because society has told us that we weren't sexy and we weren't worthy, and that men were not attracted to us. And so there is a space, a space for every group, for every pool party and, hangout and club party and every, picnicking. And I know that there's a BBW kayaking group and BBW cruisers. And I am excited about every group that's out there that says to us that you matter, that you should be represented, that there is a place for you. And so I just hope to be in the middle of those and doing the things that are about travel and about health and wellness at any size. We are absolutely not a weight loss group. There are a lot of our members who are on weight loss journeys, and I respect and love everybody for doing what is right for them and their health. But I want to make sure that people are not waiting to enjoy life until they lose weight, because in many cases they just lose so much time and so much life. And so I just want to make sure that we're putting that first and foremost. And so that's the mission of Juicy Peaches. But it's also a part of my mission is to be the sister that we all need, the one that is going to be there to support you through whatever the challenges are. and to make sure that you know and that you continue to hear that you are worthy and that you are deserving, that you are capable when the world is knocking you down and you just need somebody to say, get the hell up. You can't just stay there. Because sometimes we've got to have those really tough conversations, and I just want to make sure that I'm the sister that does that.
Exactly.
And I need somebody to have them with me at times, and so I welcome them at all times.
Exactly.
What's coming up for the holidays? It was always something. I'm excited about just adopting a family again this year. We did it last year, and I always love adopted families. My family does it every year and has done it for years. And so I'm excited about adopting another family and doing it as a group, trying to figure out the logistics of that. We're maybe going to do the Secret Peach again this year, but we are going to get together and have our ugly sweater and just have some laughs and just share in the love of the season and make sure that we're all okay. And we've got a member right now who is a dad who is just trying to get his feet together after a move and a bad move and a scam, and then got in situated and he doesn't have a battery for his car and can't get his daughter to school or can't get to work. So I'm going to soon be asking everybody to rally around and see if we can't put a few dollars in and help him get a battery. And I'm going to hope that we will continue to be a family and be supportive of each other and make sure that we get through the holidays, because the holidays are not jolly for everybody. As a retired social worker and counselor, I know that these are very tough times for families, and I want to make sure that we're all able to get through it on the other side successfully. So we'll be doing some things that support that and our togetherness and just love for each other, and continuing to have some events and to promote the other two for next year.
Okay. Well, that's enough. And yeah, I wanna say that as well about our member, our brother. You know, that's hard, and if you need to come on here and do something and say something to get that support, and you needed to go somewhere else, then I'm willing to allow that to happen as well. Because people have helped me before, and hopefully they'll help me again. So just passing it forward, just passing it forward, trying to do the good that you want in the world. That's it. So,
absolutely.
But yeah, and well, I can't wait, because the adopting the family, it was good. I enjoyed it. You know, it was rocky at first. Me being me. But I think that we pulled together and really made something out of it, out of the situation. Yeah. I wish that I had been able to come to the party, but it was just so cold, and it was my first winter with bone cancer, and I had no idea how bad I was going to hurt.
Yeah.
And it was bad. So I'm prayerful, and I'm hopeful that this year that I know what I need to do, that I can be more active in the winter months, because it's just been too hot this summer.
Yes.
And that I can get out and do more when the weather changes and it gets cold. But you do what you can when you can, and let the rest of it do what it is.
Absolutely.
You just have to do what you can. But is there anything else that you want to tell the audience and say before we end our show?
I would like to, again, just invite everybody. If you are a super plus size BBW, if you're in the plus size community or know somebody who does and would like to see them get involved and enjoy life, and maybe they would need to benefit from the sisterhood of others who are like-minded and just want to enjoy life and are not drama and just really positive interactions, then definitely look up Juicy Peaches on Facebook. It's the Juicy Peaches group or Juicy Peaches SSBBW events. Look for our events, see what's happening, check out our trips, and know that our vacations and activities are at cost. At best, they usually are below cost. At best, they are at cost, but they are never for profit. So we do not profit from events or vacations. This is about the purpose and not the profit. It's about getting us out and helping me to fulfill my mission and honor my mom, and to do this in a way that benefits us all in this community. So if you could share the link with them, with your listeners, I would love that. And we still have space available for our cruise. We just started booking for the Pretty in Pink Breast Cancer Awareness and Plus Size Appreciation Day vacation. There's a low down payment of $100, monthly payments of $55. If you have like scooters and those things, they just add to it and bring it up a little bit more. But these are very affordable, I believe, vacation. And we do so a year in advance to give everybody an opportunity to have some bite-sized sort of pieces to put together so that you can make this trip, a great one for you.
Exactly. And also, if you are in either one of any of the trips that are coming up and you're looking for a roommate, Unique will also help you find a roommate. She will also help you do roommate finder so that you can offset some of the costs with you and another person. But if you want to do it by yourself, both trips, the one the cruise and for the trip in October, both of them are double and single occupancy. So if you just want to go by yourself and get away, you can do that. But with the October trip, the double occupancy is, I think it's 12.
Right. The double occupancy is $750 a person. The single occupancy is $1,250 a person. And we do that to make sure some people just want to have their own king-size bed and to lay in and chill, and you just feel better about that, and that's fine. My husband may say my husband's going to sponsor me, and, this is just for me to come and enjoy myself. And so you want that time to yourself. And everybody's different, and I believe that you should vacation the way you want to vacation. That although this is a group event, there are technically only 2 actual events that are group. There's the group meals, of course, but if you wanted to skip those and you just decided you wanted to just go because you wanted to check out a restaurant you saw on TikTok or on Instagram and you were going to do that instead, then that's fine too. I want you to be at the Plus Size Appreciation Day soiree and the Breast Cancer Awareness Rally. And if you're at those 2, then I'm just fine. The other things that we add to it, again, we've got a couple of buffets. We got buffet lunch or breakfast, brunch, I believe, at the Bellagio. So it's an amazing buffet there. One of the world famous buffets is at the Wynn, Las Vegas, and I just posted a review on that on our social media pages. It is also an amazing buffet. Included as well is a Vegas show. Right now we're looking at the Awakening as a Vegas show. There will be some others that we will add to it, so you can have a choice of a Vegas show or either a spa treatment. Maybe you wanted to just do a spa soak or have a mud mask or whatever you decide, that you have a choice, so that you are not only just coming to these events, but that you're getting a taste of Vegas and some free time to enjoy the things that you want to do. So my hope is that over these next few months that you'll be looking at all of the options. Social media has everything about Vegas, and you'll have a list of things that you want to do and try while you're there, and that you'll use your time to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. It's going to be awesome. And with the pretty in pink, you don't have to wear pink all the time, but a splash of pink for the soiree, right?
Yes.
It's going to be
we
fun.
are asking you to wear pink at a couple of the events that you'll be in pink, but it doesn't have to be the entire weekend, but we're asking for a splash of pink at the soiree so that when we have that picture, it shows that we were there with breast cancer awareness in mind, and that we are there together with one goal, and that's to make sure that we can all stump out breast cancer, that we can identify it early, that we are prioritizing our health, and that we are able to advocate for ourselves, and that we are in a sisterhood of it, that we are all going to work together to make sure that these things happen. And so the website, the Eventbrite, I really try to make sure it's very detailed, that it has links to the different things that you can do so that you can see them. If the scooters have links to the scooter rental company that we're using, and the exact scooters, the 3- and the 4-wheel scooters are there. All of the places that we have events are there are links to them. We've got some photos, exact photos of the rooms that we are reserving at the Paris, Las Vegas resort. That you can see the accessible bathroom. So all of those things are there so that you know exactly what you're going to be getting and what is included and also what's not included. And I do this so that you can have the best picture of what's to happen. And then the rest of it will come over time when you start booking. And then we have some pen pal, just sort of games and relationships that you can start to build with someone that you don't even know, and you start a pen pal relationship with, and then you get there and we'll have that reveal at our welcome party. So you see who you've been talking to this whole time. So and 9 out of 10 it's going to be someone you don't know. So you'll get a chance to meet some new friends, to hang out, to bond together while you're there, and to hopefully make some lifelong friendships that you can add to the experience.
Okay. It sounds awesome. And like I said, I am cutting my shopping habit, my Temu habit. I am cutting my shopping and my Temu habit out so that I can definitely do this, because I'm so excited about it. And I've already looked at my calendar and I've told the nurses, like, okay, y'all need to work with me because, listen, 2024, I don't want to be sick. I don't want anything to stop me.
Exactly. Claim it.
Yes, because I am going to Vegas. I want to go. And so,
that's right.
You know, they're like, okay, well, we're going to do what we can to get you there. Where are you going? You always doing something. And I was like, well, this is what it is. And so, yeah, I'm really excited, and I can't wait to be a part and just, you know, just be a part and relish it. Absolutely. I can't wait. And I hope that everyone that is listening, you know, I'm going to post the link from the group and also the Instagram. I'll put that on my Instagram page, and you can already follow, because if you look at the post that I did today, I tagged Juicy Peaches in the post, the promo that I did. So definitely follow, click like and follow. And I will post the Facebook page on my radio page so that people can see it and get to it, and on my page. Because, we need to do this. We need to make sure that this trip happens.
It will definitely happen. If it's one of us or 1,000 of us, it's definitely going to happen. I would like to see 1,000 of us there. And so as many pink and pretty peaches that we can get out to Vegas, the better. And so I'm hoping that everyone will share it and will, put your paid support behind it. So many times we say, this is a good event, this is going to be great, and then people walk the other way and don't put the deposits down and just let other things take, precedent. I think that this is one of the times that you say, this is for me, and this is, I think that it's an affordable cost, and it has a whole lot that's packed into it for that cost. And this is not a bash, this is not a BBW bash. This is a a Vegas vacation. So everything is not happening at the one hotel or one place. It's going to be several different places and a lot of free time to give you time to enjoy Vegas.
Exactly. And you have that ability to enjoy. And it's the same with the cruise. The cruise is it's your ability to get out and to experience, you're going to fly and you're going to get on a ship. And this ship is practically brand new because it didn't come out until 2020 during the pandemic.
Right.
So it's not one of the oldest. They've only had
one full ship since they've been sailing. They've only had one sellout cruise on all of them. It's just one. So this is still, like you said, it's still brand new. It's still really, really accessible, and it's still very light in terms of the number of passengers that are on each one. So you got some room to spread out and just kind of enjoy yourself.
Exactly. And that cruise there are spaces that are still available for it as well. And you can find information about the cruise. You can also find it on the event page as well.
Yes. All of our events are on our Eventbrite page. And if you don't have that link, I'll send it to you. It's on our Juicy Peaches Instagram page, too, in our bio. But all of our open events are there. The classes are there, the upcoming classes, the cruise, and the Pretty and Pink event are all there. So you can still purchase tickets. You can still, get your reservation booked. The cruise is a little bit higher than it's a luxury cruise, so it's not going to be the same price as a Carnival cruise. Keep that in mind. But it is going to be an amazing time. But again, we did start that a year early as well. Yeah,
it did. And the flight classes, the passenger size classes, they are $25. And I also saw that you had 2 coming up this weekend.
We do. We have a class on no, it's not this weekend. It's next weekend. We have a class on Friday and Sunday of next weekend.
Next weekend.
It's this day next weekend, Friday and Sunday.
Okay. Yeah. So if you are interested in, getting that information and getting that comfortability to fly and finding out everything that as much as you can so that you can be comfortable in that process of going to the airport and getting on a plane and knowing that you're going to be okay. Because that's the biggest thing, just knowing that you're going to be okay. Once you feel that in your spirit that you are, then the rest of it is just easy peasy. So definitely keep in mind about a class for $25. So I want to thank you for coming on. And anytime that you want to come on and promote something or talk about something, the door is open. You don't even have to ask twice.
Thank you so much. I thank you for this invite, and I thank you for your belief in our mission and for your willingness to share your platform to promote it. I appreciate it more than you know, and I'm so glad that I know you And I'm excited about everything that you're doing and continuing to doing as you battle this beast. Congratulations, and I wish you just God's increase.
Thank you. Same to you. We still have to do that lunch.
We do. We absolutely do.
We
time.
have got to do it. We've got to do it soon.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We will. For
we
sure.
will. It will happen. It will happen
It
when
will.
it's supposed to happen. Exactly. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight for another episode of Night Talks with Sasha. Again, next Friday, the 15th, we will be doing the panel show about dating as a plus-size disabled woman. Again, if you are a gentleman and you are disabled and plus-size, you want to be a part of the show, please hit me up at Night Talks with Sasha at 69 at 60gmail.com. Sorry. And or you can look me up on IG. You can also Facebook. So just hit me up if you're interested in doing that show. The 23rd, we're going to be doing a book review. So we're going to have a guest come on. She's a professor, and she did her own workbook. So we're going to have her on the 23rd. We're going to kind of, the season is getting ready to change. We're going from spring, summer, back to fall. And so with that, Night Talks with Sasha is going to start doing books. And we're going to introduce Sasha's Book Corner. And Sasha's Book Corner is going to be a joint venture with Real Talks, Real Plans, Riri. And Riri and I are going to get together and talk about two of our favorite things. The Planner Evangelist is coming back. So definitely stay tuned for that. And that's going to happen on September the 23rd. I'm also going to be doing a book review with Uncontrollable Goddess Mindset Coach. She's going to come on, and I'm going to review her book, Poetry Inspired by Tupac, Life Goes On. And so she's going to come on, and we're going to do that as well, and that's going to be in September as well. So please join us, if you want to be a part of the show and you have a question, comment. If you want to tell us how we're doing, how I'm doing, if you're looking for swing and beauty, hopefully they'll be back. I don't know. Time will tell. But so we'll go from there. But until then, and in the meantime, in between time, I want to wish you well, blessings, and be safe. Have a great weekend, and we will see you again for another episode of Night Talks with Sasha. Thank you, Unique, for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, and thanks, everybody, for listening.
All right. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye. So that's what's going to happen, and that's what's coming up on the next Night Talks with Sasha. Also, I wanted to say something else. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, gosh. Can't read my own handwriting. That's bad business. I wanted to also talk about possibly doing a self-care Saturday show. That show will air once a month. It's going to be about self-care in all aspects, however you want to do your self-care, however you do your self-care, that's going to happen. But I think it's important that we take time for ourselves, not just necessarily having getting your hair done or getting your nails done. It's the mental, spiritual part of you as well. And so with that show, that segment, it's just going to be one Saturday a month. We're going to have a topic of discussion. And on that topic of discussion, we're going to talk about caring for yourself and how to do that. Whether it is, again, whether it's your mental, your physical, or your spiritual self. So definitely look out for that. I know it's a lot, seems like a lot of moving parts, but I just think that it's important to do those things, and to have those conversations about it, about self-care. It was also, I wanted to mention about the, no, that's not what I wanted to mention. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. But yeah, look out for the self-care Saturday once a month. That is not probably going to happen until next month in October, is when that will occur. So, yeah, that's going to happen. But again, definitely look out for the panel discussion that's going to take place September the 15th, and the show Night Talks, Sasha's Book Corner with Riri, and we're going to talk to an author, and I will get all that information out. Okay, so that's it. That's it this time. But I want to thank you all for listening to Unique, talking about the Juicy Peaches and all the travel and the trips that are coming on, that are coming up within the group. I will be posting the Eventbrite page. That's the page that you can go on and look up any of the open trips that she has going on. That will be for the class, which is $25, and also the Virgin Cruise on the cruise liner. That trip is still open, and of course the October trip, Pretty in Pink in Vegas. That's going to be open. I will also post the Facebook page so that if you're interested in joining the group itself, then you can, and look for it on Instagram. I don't know if she has threads yet or not, but definitely look for it on Instagram. All right. Thank you all for listening. I hope that you have an awesome weekend. Be safe. Mask up, because COVID is back, and the numbers are steadily increasing quickly. So take care of yourself. Wash your hands. Do all of those things we're having to do again to protect ourselves. We've lost enough people, and I don't want to lose you. Okay? Listen to the show on Apple. If you have iPhone, iOS, you can get the show on Apple. I was told that all of the shows are not coming up. I'm going to have to check that out and make sure. So just bear with me if you're trying to go back. I think they go back until early July of this year, of the summer, but they don't go back all the way up until February of this year. So I'm definitely going to have to check and see what that's about. But you can listen to all of the shows that have been done from July of 2023 up until tonight's show on Apple Podcasts. All right. Thank you all for listening. Have a blessed night, and we'll be talking to you soon. Bye-bye. My